I am a cosmic being, a better world for everyone. January 25th, 2013. Reference Synergetics 100.322, Synergetics 100.301, and a documentary, Coroner's Store, about a Palestinian immigrant with some scenes filmed in Palestine. When we read or hear the word occur, we are reminded it is a time word, and the word recurrence can trigger awareness, reminding us that this is a co-occurring evolution scenario. Somewhere in our information gathering, local problem solving, metaphysical propensity, and physical incarnation realization and oscillation, we learn that evolution is always tinkering around with best condition and best assembly survival alternatives. So it must be in our DNA, the very DNA that programs the frequency modulating to build the part, but that the whole, by a grand design of us in universe, is of eternal omniscient mind's universe, the only and complete glory. This integrity is not beyond our intellection and awareness evolution in its anticipatory conscience domains, isotropic vector matrix, omnirational operational field complex. Then, the most economically interrelated relevance for best environmental survival condition and assembly initiates in thought's conceptuality, where thought begins, and not where politics and religion begin to overwhelm us. We have to step outside the box, to set aside irrelevance, and this is very difficult when immersed in the rhetorical cultivation that for centuries has convinced humans they cannot think an omnirational thought. Such religion, politics, conceptioning is where the edge of a cube is abstracted by those mindsets and constructed into a divisive wall. The wall is made of the strongest possible material, but it can come tumbling down by the force of an earthquake. This says it is entirely physical and can be reduced in size as would be 2 grains of sand. Then it is a redundant invention, this wall, not at all conducive to QR error considerations, which are comprehensively interested in reducing the tolerance magnitude of the residual inaccuracies of observation and articulation. Just because it looks impressively huge and towers so high, it is still a physical incarnation of the thought process, which was designed as a solution and must have been prior to any awareness that only the tetrahedron can accommodate the asymmetric aberrations of otherness. This means without losing the integrity of the tetrahedron's 4-dimensional symmetry. It also means without losing the integrity of the tetrahedron's subdivisible volumetric rationality. See 100.322. So what are we building now? What great legacies are these that leave in the histories of our life on Earth nothing but piles of rubble from shattered living environments? Are we so politically indebted to the AD era's non-rational values that it motivates an asymmetric aberration survival? Is it of a particular school of thought and a relative mindlessness about modular subdivision in one's own conceptuality field, while the anticipatory conscience correlates holistic, metaphysical, physical, environmental survival alternatives, which are wholly a mind-brain coordination of thought language and thought action? To answer, we would first require our rudimentary knowledge of the minimum, something we can get inside of and out of without loss of life. See 100.301. What is entirely inessential to the benignity of best evolution, environmental condition, and assembly as a survival alternatives is politics and religion. Those inventions are absolutely valueless to the most economical way of behaving relative to unity in self, since consciousness is the generalization and intelligent life choices must generalize the concept politics, and the concept religion? Is generalization an unwinding process? Or is it a setting aside of irrelevancies and instead of any belief system's predominant interferences, starting with universe? Earlier generations were not aware of universe and multiplication only by division, and that at minimum universe is a tetrahedron's eternal regenerating pattern integrity as the point-toable prime sphere's vector equilibrium. Nor were those before us who devised the AD era inceptions and conceptions aware that humans oscillate between our metaphysical propensities and physical incarnations. So consciousness of this naturally would require a cosmic awareness of the vector equilibrium as universe's metaphysical, physical equanimity model, a shared design. As we think along these lines, points, areas, or the vectors, vertexes, and faces, or edges, corners, openings, we more easily recognize quite a great deal of anticipatory brain-mind functioning is actually, virtually, cerebrally going on. It is intellect at work, primarily imagining a more comprehensively coordinating world than the world's underway conditions and assemblies. It actually helps to reiterate conceptions that clarify more succinctly what we could easily disregard because it does not fit the political religion rhetoric. Such rhetoric has controlled education institutions and thereat our human existence for centuries. That none of the education facilities are and have never been mindful of the QR era's absolute necessity, until now, for an omnirational evolution survival, which we recognize must always include our species. The omnirational perspective constructs realities referential to the universe in which its integrity patterns may occur to us without loss of it. And while the asymmetric aberrations of otherness, like the wall between Palestine and Israel, seems permanent and exists essential to our awareness of it, the very life that begins anew henceforth is also a state of the experience, and in the accommodation of the asymmetric aberration, the more conscionable tetrahedron that permits conceptual focus upon otherness is also primitively essential to what we can anticipate regarding reducing the tolerance magnitude of such offsetting perturbations that decrease our humanity's elective freedom. Our era thinking, to put it another way, is inherently interested in freedom, liberty, truth, love, and equanimity for all, and the eventual obsolescence of redundant belief systems whose self-serving influence costs our generations too dearly. The expenses are too great, and we can see this going on around the world. It feels like something just does not fit. It's out of kilter and is so asymmetrically aberrating, with a traceable origination to the politics and religion of our histories on earth. Before politics and religion came into this co-occurring evolution scenario, what was going on? Whatever it was, humans were doing what they knew about survival, not recognizing then that environment plus system equal universe, and that there is a total reality of universal principles. Those generalized principles are eternal, which politics is not. Neither is religion an eternal generalized principle, but E equals mc to the second power is an eternal generalized principle. So is E equal to v to the second power, which is Einstein's equation in vectorial terms. Then the QR era's conceptual faculty of thought, unlike AD era counterparts, has an eternal patterning conceptioning to which a mind can refer the adjustments of a priori thought. It must be for a better world than this one and for everyone on earth. Thank you.